Alright, what's up, folks? I figured after doing a night trap video, I would just go ahead and do a tutorial of kind of how I did it and just basically explain it. So, um, I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. First of all, um, I you have to have well, to do the 3DO version, which is what I'm going to demonstrate. You have to have the 4DO emulator. So I have disk images on my computer for the 3DO disks, and we'll go ahead and open up the 4DO 3DO emulator. It says this is version 1.3.2.3. That's the version I would recommend if you're going to do anything like this, because previous and future versions, for some reason, this particular option doesn't work very well. But oh well. But anyway, so we go to Tools, then we go to Disk Browser, and it shows a disk 1 data bin. We just right click on it and choose extract to. Pick our folder, which I already did it. I chose night trap footage, and then just select folder and extract, and give it about 90 seconds or so. It extracts the whole thing. So we can go ahead and close out a 4DO now. And if we go to our folder, it shows there's our data 1 bin. So now what we do is there's another program that was conceived um, for use with Visual Basic, and it's called SCAT. And basically, it's used to unlock pretty much all the digital pictures games, because they pretty much all follow the same format and hierarchy, and all the FMV files on the disks are .sga extensions. And so pretty much SCAT reads .sga extension files. So we're going to go ahead and open this up and take a look at it. And while that's trying to open up, I'll open up Premiere as well. Okay, so now that we got Visual Basic up and running and Premiere up and running, um, the uh, the the application was developed. It's called SCAT, and it was developed by a guy called Paul Jensen, and he's been kind of continually working on the program. It works a lot better now than it used to, so that's good. Uh, but anyway, so basically we pull up Visual Basic, and then we just choose Start to start the application. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to extract the data from the bin file. So I'll go to extract from 3DO disk data, go to open, then we'll just find the file, open. It's identifying the file, loading media chunks, locating sequence boundaries, and there's all the footage. So we just choose extract, find a folder, and it's pretty much an instant thing. So once you do that, we can go to open, and now we can actually open up our footage and take a look at it. So we'll go ahead and open this up. And then we can play it.
Your parents are leaving. So? So, Sarah, we're in this huge house with all your friends. We have telephones, we have a car, your parents are gone, and you say so?
Okay, that looks good. So basically what I had to do, since whenever I did that, he said he had to disable batch processing for different reasons. So pretty much what I had to do is just go to open, find a file, then export, current preview, and it saves as an AVI save, and then basically just kind of watch it go through the clip and do that. Okay, and it looks like it's finishing. Yep, okay, it's done. So then once that's done, so then I go to open, then the next one. And that's basically what I had to do was go to export, current preview, export as AVI. Once that's done, go to open, go to the next one, export, current preview as AVI. Once that's done, open, go to the next one, so on and so forth, and just keep on going until I did the entire disk. And with Night Trap, there's 2 disks, and each disk is, good grief, about 160 clips. Now, granted, I didn't do all 160 clips because majority of those toward the bottom, shorter clips, are just trap sequences, and I wasn't really doing hardly any traps. So I just kind of omitted those. So yeah, after we have all of our footage set up in the bin, then I can go on and move on to Premiere. So basically, what I did was I have footage. I have disc one, which is all the footage for disc one, not cataloged whatsoever. It's just in alphabetical order. And then disc two, same thing. Now, for some reason with the 3DO, it didn't catalog the audio, like the crickets, the beep, the password color changes, or the frogs, or anything like that. So I had to get those off of the 32X disc. So basically, I chose a few passwords. Um, then I chose the crickets, the frog, things like that. There was a few sequences I couldn't find on the 32X disc. Um, Actually, no, it looks like there's just one. There's just one sequence I couldn't find, which was this one. And Kelly runs into the room to save Ashley. Um, now, I'll also note right now that if we look at the data on this footage, it oh freaking crap! There we go. It says it's a 272 by 144, which essentially it's 140p. So when we were watching television all the way up until 10 years ago, television for the most part was in 480i, which means it's interlaced, which means the image strobes back and forth between odd and even fields for 30 frames a second. But and then we bumped up to HD TV to 1080p, and now we're in ultra high definition, which is 2160p. So set 480i, 1080p, 2160p. This footage is 144p. Yeah, so how's that? So ridiculously tiny footage. Like if you see right here, that's the native size of the image on my screen. That's at 100% resolution. That's how small and tiny this footage is compared to my monitor, which is a 1080p monitor. So what I did was essentially I'd already done my 32x cut, so I pretty much just laid down the 32x file as one sequence, and then pretty much I just started grabbing footage. I just come up here and be like, okay, that's the opening credits, so I put that down, and then I come over here and be like, um, okay, that's not getting trapped. I didn't use that. Um, okay, that's more the opening sequence. So, I mean, I just went ahead and laid all the video file down. I mean, of course, I made artistic decisions on how to cut the footage. A lot of people's Night Trap the movies, they just do one sequence at a time, one sequence at a time, because they're usually whenever people, all the versions I've seen of people doing this, they've sourced it from either playing the game directly or an emulator playing the game. So I went the other way and actually sourced the original footage from the discs in native resolution, um, to put in here, which had some benefits. Number one benefit is there's no beep when you miss an OG because that's a separate audio file that's played into the memory of the Sega CD. Number two is I have the native resolution of the video at the aspect ratio. So I don't have to go, well, was this 1.78 to 1? Was this 1.86 to 1? Was this 2.4 to 1? Was it 2.35 to 1? Yada, yada, yada. I have it directly here, which it came up to be 1.86 to 1 or 1.85 to 1, but whatever. So that's what the resolution of the footage ended up being. Um, so I went ahead and got all that put down as a timeline. Now, I had some people suggesting to use some noise reduction. Me personally, I kind of like the way it looks with the noise because it looks kind of filmic, especially like right here. If you look up in the clouds, I mean, it just looks like film to me. But some people were wanting to see a cleaner image, so I figured, okay, whatever, we'll just go ahead and do a cleaner image. So I have Neat Video version 1, which is a DNR plugin, digital noise reduction plugin. Evidently, they're up to version 4 now. So I downloaded the trial version 4 to kind of see how it works. Um, so pretty much what I did was, okay, so I have, this is my finished timeline right here. So what I did was I created another timeline, and pretty much what I have here is I have all the game footage on these lines, and I have all the extras that weren't game footage, like the opening credits, the closing credits, some interstitials I did, and then also I added black bars to um, I guess make the aspect ratio permanent for the entire thing, because the opening credits I did, the interstitials I did, and some other things were in 1.78 to 1 ratio, whereas the game footage is in 1.86 to 1 ratio. So then I just made black bars all over the entire thing to make it all uniform aspect ratio. So anyway, so we got that. So then, so I created another sequence, um, and then this is just strictly game footage only, nothing else but the game footage. Then I created another sequence which just was strictly just the extras, no game footage whatsoever. It's just the extra footage like the interstitials, the opening closing credits, things like that, and also the black bars. Yeah, as you can see right here, you can see there's a black bar, and you can see how, yeah. So then I have it to where it's combined. Now, the plugin that I have since I got the trial, um, it the trial only allows you to do up to a 720p, um, and it only allows you to do up to a 30-minute sequence. And so with the trial, it adds a watermark to the bottom right corner of your video. Um, So what I did was I broke up the video into 25-minute segments so it would not exceed the 30-minute thing, because I've already paid the company for version 1, and this is the only time I'm going to use the plugin. So because I use different noise reduction now, I use Red Giant now. But at any rate, so I broke it up into 25 things, and then I noticed that if you apply the sequence to your footage, if the sequence is bigger than the footage, it puts the watermark outside of the footage. So what I did was I created a square sequence, 720 by 720. So when I lay the watermark, it's like out here somewhere or somewhere. So the watermark is just no longer present. So we'll go ahead and do, here's the footage without the plugin, footage with the plugin. As you can see, it did a decent job of taking away some of the grain or some of the pixelation. I left some of it in just because that's kind of the look I was going for. But I mean, especially like if you look at this, look at that, look at that, look at that. I mean, you still have the same details. You can still see the hairs, things like that, which I was really excited about because version 4 it just had a better algorithm. Yeah, as you can see, it took some of it out, but it still leaves some decent details. Um, so I was kind of, okay with that. Because the one thing I was kind of apprehensive about using noise reduction was removal of details because this footage is so small anyway. Losing details is kind of an important thing. But for the most part, I mean, they did pretty good. I mean, so I went ahead and uploaded, or I went ahead and exported this as just one sequence. So we have the entire sequence here. So I went ahead and just exported that all as one sequence, and then I uploaded it to YouTube. So I have both versions on YouTube right now. The DNR version is the main version I have, but then I also have the raw version as well. It's just linked in the video description. So in case anybody wants to see the raw footage, if they prefer that more than the processed image look, they can do that as well. So yeah, so I mean, there's the final output and everything. So yeah, pretty stoked about that. Um, I don't think there's really much else to say. I mean, that's just pretty much how I did it. I just went through and built the sequence up, one by one. And so yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for tuning in, I guess.